So what you gonna do, brother? We about to run wild with a style like no other. So somebody call Brodus Clay mother and tell her Richard Runz are the men like Ed Lover and Doc Dre. What Scott say, what they hang on every word like it's something that the Rock say. No JR, but they talking wrestling. We bring the noise with the boys, so we Dalton Castling. So masculine, oozing machismo, mutton chop shop, Gran Turismo. No free throws, snarl hoops and heels. It's D-Bras retirement, give me the super feels. Straight shoot, it's real. Drop a pipe bomb, get ready to bull like the Rock's right arm. So stay calm, tranquilo, I'll go Naito and give them Destino. And we know that you chumps ain't ready for the heartbreak runs and the Cuban Genetti. They drop it heavy, tag team it like Teddy. Long go strong with the heat like Eddie. So steady like when Taker walked the tightrope. Spaz like Taz with the mic in a tight choke. Dirtiest player in the game with the eye poke. 1988 Macho Man on a line of coke. These other casts are a waste, they boring. Illegitimate sons like Jason Jordan. And Richard Runz never give him respect unless they going on air with a broken frickin' neck. So bounce like Papa Pump's pecs. Every time they get down, they bound to catch wreck. Y'all don't know nada, they the Okadas. You're the Washington Generals, they the Globetrotters. A whole lot of podcasts in the scene, but Richard Runz running wild is the cast of your dreams. So it seems these two is too sweet. Bullet Club pulling up with schemes to delete. So retreat, we steal, we cheat, but I never lie, I swear on these beats. And these two got some styles for you, but what you gonna do when they run wild on you?
Oh, hell yeah. It's the Big Dog Red Tires. And you're listening to the Running Wild podcast. Because if you're trying to run wild, this is the place to do it.
Do you want to let everyone know that you get it? Do you not want to be a Melvin? Well, then listen to the Running Wild podcast. And if you don't, you know what you are.
I'm the last real man, Silas Young. And if you're any kind of man, you'll be listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Hi guys, this is Mandy Leon, and you're listening to the Running Wild podcast.
This is Sam Adonis, El Juro de las Chicas de CMLL, and you are listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to start that over, Dick. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild Podcast. I'm your host, Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Runz.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're here at the Best of 2017 Awards show. Basically, we're just going to be covering the awards this week, a little smattering of when it went on in WWE this week, but not much, as a lot of it was, just Christmas break shows, and I don't always feel like those are the best.
The one thing that I will say immediately is they gave us USA an hour of commercial-free TV, and for 30 to 40 minutes we got John Cena versus Elias. So thanks WWE. That was a great gift you gave us.
I did like seeing Elias shush John Cena.
Yes, it was a good promo. It was an okay match. It was good enough, but they gave it time. I get that, but an hour free of TV, and then we get Cena and Elias for half of it. It was like, oh, okay, well, what was the point of 30 minutes? Hour free.
Is that the first time they've ever done commercial free?
I don't think so. I feel like they've done it before. I think it's something USA does,
Yeah, I've seen them do it with like a show. I think I've seen them do it with like a show, like commercial free Psych or something like that. So I'm just wondering, I was talking to Statwife about this. To me, it would make sense, like the Raw after Mania. Make that commercial free the first hour. Like that's the one that everybody wants to watch. You get rid of commercials for that first hour of the Raw after Mania, and nobody switches the channel.
Right. I mean, I don't disagree. I just think it's the time of year that they do this.
Come on, USA, just admit. Like, it's not your shows it's not all your original content that keeps you guys going. It's WWE. I mean, it's not even the dog show anymore.
I honestly don't know, because how many weird people watch those random USA shows?
The greatest part about moving to Westchester and now hanging out in the man cave all the time and dragging the wife into the man cave is the lack of consistent USA shows that we watch anymore. That's out the window. It's fantastic. We don't watch any of those USA shows anymore. It makes me so happy. In Plain Sight or anything ridiculous. I'm just so
right. You watched one show for 3 hours on USA per week, and Stat Wife watched, I don't know, maybe like 3 days worth of USA shows a week, so you just got to think about it that way. Yeah, WWE brings in a nice amount of money, but there are certainly a lot of people watching these random bad USA shows.
Yeah, if it were possible, I think that we would probably just pay for cable when we lived in Brooklyn for 2 channels, New York 1 and USA, and that's about it. All right, so with that out of the way, I guess we should get to our awards. The vaunted 2017. So just so you guys know the selection process, essentially, Statwife listened to all of our episodes throughout the year, and then sent us all our hot takes, and we went through them and decided which would be our options, right, separately, and then we picked our own separate winners for these awards. Or I sent you a text message about 12 hours ago, and then we made our selections. It's one of those 2 ways that we got this going.
Yeah, either way.
All right, so which award would you like to go with first?
Which award would you like to go with?
All right, so let's start with Best Tag Team of the Year. I think, and we'll go with, so for some of these, we decided that we would do like a indie kind of counterpart to it. Let's start with the WWE Best Tag Team of the Year. I'm going to have to go with, now, I think it's a landslide almost for me. I think the Usos were the best tag team in WWE for the calendar year.
I couldn't agree with you more. As soon as that category was brought up or thought of in my head, the only WWE team that I really thought of was the Usos. They've just been amazing this year, changing up everything that they did in the previous era of their career, and it's been fantastic. From someone who watches Up, Down, Down and sees these guys on there, like, this isn't too far of a stretch from who they are in real life, and I think that really helps them feel comfortable with the characters and just being them and having fun, and it works. I listed the Bar because I think they've been great too, and that's definitely a team that I've grown to enjoy more as the year went on. I listed the Shield just because, and then I had Sanity and Undisputed Era just because I've enjoyed their work on NXT. And, I think something that's a little bit lost because it's a long year is that the Revival, DIY, Authors of Pain, all those guys have been in NXT and having great matches there, and some continued on the main roster, some continued as singles, but that seems like a long time ago, but it was still this year. So, tag team wrestling has been really good this year, especially.
For me, I love seeing the Undisputed Era together. So seeing Fish and O'Reilly win the belts, has been really cool. And if they had done it a little bit earlier, they might be up there for me. But the Usos, like you said, they had the strongest complete year, or the most complete year, I would say, and they definitely get the nod for me. Do you have a tag team that you would say outside of WWE that you ranked really highly or you thought about?
Well, there's one answer to this, and it's the Young Bucks, but I listed Kaz and Daniels. I listed from PWG. I don't think they've wrestled anywhere else. The Chosen Bros, Jeff Cobb and Matt Riddle, their matches in PWG have been amazing. I've really enjoyed their work together. I've really enjoyed all the matches that they've had, and it's been a fun little run there. And then I listed the Best Friends just because what they do in PWG has been a lot of fun, and now they're branching off into New Japan and ROH, and it's fun to see that.
Yeah, 2 teams that I had on my list that were different than yours. The Carnies, I've seen some of their stuff around, and I really enjoy them together. They briefly made an appearance in Ring of Honor, I believe at the Uncensored show earlier this year, but they've just been, basically they've come to the Northeast. They were at Battle Club up here. They've been down the kind of the East Coast on the Southeast, doing well down there. And another team, the Lucha Brothers, man. I mean, I think the Young Bucks do run away with it just because of their stature and everything. But the Lucha Brothers, they've been everywhere. I mean, other than obviously like Ring of Honor and stuff like that. But those guys have been drawing huge houses wherever they go and kind of having big time matches. So that's cool as well.
The only thing that I'll say with them, and I love both of them, it's just as a tag team, I don't connect as much as I should with both of them. I love them both. I enjoy watching them. Huge fan of Penta. Really enjoy Phoenix, but I don't know. Together, they don't excite me.
That makes sense. They're like two single stars together. You don't see them as like a
right. And I know they're brothers and all that sort of thing. So it's cool, but for whatever reason, they just feel bigger as single stars.
Fair. So yeah, the Young Bucks. Hopefully, they'll be stopping by soon to pick up their award. We do have
I'm sure
the physical awards here in house. So we'll be hopefully we'll be meeting up with these guys to hand the awards over ourselves.
I wish you had some type of small trophy in your hand right now.
I do. It's off camera, but we will be sending it to the Young Bucks. They're going to be guys. You're listening. Just do us a favor. Just send us your home address, DM. All right, and we'll. Over at Rancho Cucamonga, and we'll send over the awards. You guys can put it on your mantelpiece right next to the 6-man titles and the ROH championships and IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Let's move on to the next category. All right, so you want to go with favorite show or best pay-per-view of the year?
Yeah, sure. This one, I broke it off into the indies and WWE a little bit. I really only listed a couple. But pay-per-view, I really had any PWG show, and that's kind of cheating. But I don't know. I enjoy them all. They all offer something a little unique, and the roster is just crazy. But then I had Wrestle Kingdom and the G1 Climax for the indies, and I had TakeOver Brooklyn that we went to, and the Royal Rumble, actually, from last year.
All right, so for WWE, I had TakeOver Chicago and TakeOver Brooklyn that we went to. And I actually had SummerSlam because I really liked... I kind of liked the four-way match. It felt big going into it.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So, but overall,
yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because from SummerSlam in Chicago, I have matches listed. I don't know why I didn't write down the show.
And then for indie shows, I mean, so this is weird because it kind of bleeds a little bit to my live attendance, right? So I think that always kind of skews things a little bit. Evolve 79 when ZSG defeated Timothy Thatcher for the title. That was a really fun show to be at over there in Laboom. I really enjoyed that. I had a chance to be at Manhattan Mayhem for Ring of Honor, where the Hardys showed up unexpectedly and won the titles. That was, I mean, easily for me one of my favorite shows, just because I mean the lights went out and suddenly the Hardys came out. I mean that was
right. And see, like that's a moment. That's not, the whole show wasn't great. But that one thing was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it depends, right? I mean, for wrestling shows, it's interesting, but when you walk out of the place, if you're like, man, that was awesome, that for me, that could mean that.
But you weren't saying like, man, that third match on the card was fantastic. You know what I mean?
Okay, fair.
I wouldn't say that was a good show overall.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff, insane, one of the greatest moments of the year, maybe in a long time, but. I wouldn't say the show overall.
Fair. So, and then I would say, I'm actually not going to pick a Wrestle Kingdom here. So I think
what?
I think I'm
gonna
Mania. Listen, I'm not gonna pick the 84th anniversario, and I'm not going to pick the AAA show that I watched while we were drafting. Which, looking back on my fantasy
football
football
season... What place did you come in? Yeah, okay.
I came in... Hold on, time out.
Gotcha.
To be fair...
Last.
No?
Last.
Excuse me.
Yep.
I
Check
didn't-
the standings. Last place.
I didn't come in last. I came in second to last.
Check the standings.
What are you talking about? I'm gonna have to read.
Check-
I'm very upset by
Check the
this.
standings.
All right. This is very upsetting information. I thought I very clearly saw that I was in second to last place.
I guess you lost in the consolation playoffs.
That counts, man.
It counts for your standing. Yeah, that's it.
The
yeah,
console.
eighth place.
I stopped
3
paying
and 10,
attention and
eighth
didn't.
place. Well, I mean, hey, whose fault is that, man? You should have built a team that could stand.
This is ridiculous. All right, so I'm going to go with Evolve 79. I'm going to go with Evolve 79 because I thought the atmosphere, the kind of build to see, it's so tough because the build to that was great, but I thought Evolve 81 was really good as well. I believe you were injured, correct?
Probably.
Because I feel Statwife was there. And the only reason Statwife would have been there was to sub in for you because that's when you rolled your ankle.
Rolled my ankle, correct.
Right, yeah, because Evolve 81 was where was Paige versus Allen in the crazy match.
Right. I'm probably just going to say Wrestle Kingdom here because it was amazing, and I'm genuinely excited for this one coming up next week, in a few days actually, which I guess we should touch on a little bit at the end of this.
They do Wrestle Kingdom every year?
Yeah, yes they do.
Oh, interesting. All right. Well, so I'm
You
gonna
should check it out, maybe.
So you're gonna settle on Wrestle Kingdom. I'm gonna settle on. I'm gonna settle on Evolve 79.
What a different world that is.
Yeah. But of course we can. I like walking to go see Evolve. I'm not sure if we could walk to go see Wrestle Kingdom.
I don't think you could walk to go see Evolve. Anyway.
Probably not. I mean, it would be at this point it might be a little difficult.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, we could go to.
I mean, since you touched on it a little bit, I guess we might as well, and it kind of plays into the pay-per-view, we might as well go with the best match, because you mentioned a couple of them that I have listed from. We'll go with the indies first. I had Zack Sabre and Thatcher, which
Me too.
was just absolutely amazing to be there for. I had Almas and Gargano from TakeOver Brooklyn because, again, that was a match where I was really rooting for the babyface and against the heel, and it just went opposite, and it was really a lot of fun. Obviously, any Omega Okada match from this year. Then I had Penta and Phoenix versus the Young Bucks versus Ricochet and Sydal for the PWG tag titles. I had Ricochet versus Lee versus Cobb in Battle of Los Angeles Finals. I had Revival, AOP, DOY from Chicago, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had War Games, which I guess is... sorry, I bled in some NXT there.
I would say that for me, the two choices that stood out to me were Zack Sabre Jr., Thatcher, and I thought that Allen versus Page at Evolve 81 was crazy good, and then finding out that Allen's arm was broken while he was zipped up in a freaking body bag that was stuffed full of thumbtacks and then power bombed. That's absurd. But I'm gonna go at the end of the day, and I know obviously there's that Omega guy who had a pretty good match. If you want to kind of throw that in there, but for my money, it's Thatcher's Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, Thatcher was at the height of his. It's so crazy because it's like he became so much more appealing at the end of that run. And obviously, I think everybody was, or a lot of people were happy that Zack Sabre Jr. won the title that night. But man, the way he was going at that point, I think Thatcher could have gone on a couple more months with the title. So and his
no, incorrect. The reason that pop and everything was so amazing was everyone was so done with Thatcher and so ready for him to lose the belt. And yes, that played into his storyline and that helped his heel character. but everyone was done with him, and that was an amazing environment, and it was really great to be there. And from the live aspect, I didn't see a better match. But just watching things, Omega Okada were just insane. It's really easy to just go with that. So, I mean, that's what I'm going to do from the indie side.
Yeah,
I mentioned a couple of NXT ones in there for no reason whatsoever, other than just disorganization. But so that was my indie feud, indie matches, whatever the hell you want to say, of the year.
What do you think one of the best storylines was?
We don't want to do WWE match of the year, or that was...
Oh, we could. I mean, obviously, I just messed up here and just had a moment. So, for me, my choices are Usos New Day from Hell in a Cell. And then I would say DIY versus the Authors of Pain. And honestly, when I was making my list, I'm terrible. I stopped there because, truthfully, that's my match of the year.
Versus the Revival from Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That one was awesome. I have Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate from Chicago. I have Cena versus AJ from the Rumble last year. I have Brock, Braun, Joe, and Reigns from SummerSlam. And I have Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream from this past TakeOver. I'm probably going to agree with you on that NXT, the Triple Threat Tag match, because that match, I don't think you can get a more perfect match, a more perfect tag match. Everything that played out in that match was so much fun, and Gargano and Dawson tagging, and all that kind of fun stuff that came with it.
I'm going to throw out something kind of crazy in terms of match of the year. This is on nobody. I don't know if this is on anybody's list, but for me, it was one of the matches that I enjoyed seeing the most, and not in terms of it being the most amazing match ever. So that's why I didn't include this in our official lists. But an honorable mention for me, I believe it was the ROH Elite show from Lakeland, Florida. Matt Taven takes on Flip Gordon. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. But there's a Hulk Hogan guy in the crowd. Like, he's dressed like Hogan. And Taven is jawing at him hardcore. And they're going back and forth at each other. And the crowd is, like, really behind the Hogan guy. Taven goes in the ring and starts doing Hogan, pantomimes, right? And you could see he just says something to Gordon, which clearly wasn't part of the match earlier. But he gives him a big boot. And then he drops a leg drop on Gordon and just pulls Hulkster poses at the Hulkster guy. And the crowd, which I think normally would have been kind of meh for this match, they wouldn't have gotten super up for it. Like, Taven picked out the dude who was going to make this crowd go crazy, or, pardon the pun, run wild. And then he called an audible in the ring and hit the classic Hogan boot leg drop spot to really get everyone riled up. And man, if you watch a lot of old wrestling, a lot of it's just getting the crowd into it, and it's not always like how great the match is. So was that the greatest worked match of the entire year? I don't think so, but for me, I was like, that's the moment that I was watching and I was like, fuck, I love professional wrestling. Like, that's what made me say that.
I just think I completely agree, but I just think you need to watch more indie wrestling, because that happens on a nightly basis. There was a fan at PWG who was talking shit to Marty Scurll, and he picked the other wrestler up and threw him through the ropes so that he landed on top of that guy. Certain things like that are amazing. So it's what makes indie wrestling fun, and gives these guys and that company, whatever, their own style and personality. So, it's probably been the best year for independent non-WWE companies ever. So, we've had a great year and a lot of memories, a lot of matches, a lot of big moments, a lot of fun times, and it's really been a great year.
I mean, if you remember from last year, one of my favorite moments from last year was when Paige was wrestling Cody, and the fan held Cody for Paige, and Paige punched him, and then the fan went to give him a high five, and he just gave him the fucking double middle finger. Like, that was just bonkers. So I really enjoyed that. All right, so moving on. Best storyline of the year.
I mean, I wrote down one because I couldn't remember any other ones, and the only one I wrote down was KO and Shane. What did you write down?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I didn't write down was Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt going into WrestleMania, which, if you recall last week, we forgot that Randy Orton won the Royal Rumble, and that even went for that match.
And the title at WrestleMania,
yeah. Okay. I'm actually going to go with Jinder.
That was a storyline?
Like, him winning, and then, like...
But see, that's not a storyline to me.
All right.
Like, a storyline is like an actual, he slept with my girlfriend, so we're like that kind of a thing.
Okay.
Like, I don't...
All right, well, then the Enzo being demoted to 205 Live because he's an asshole.
That's real life.
But they used it on the show. It was great. Like, that was great.
That's terrible.
I mean, that was really good. That was excellent. I mean, like, everyone just shitting on him, and I just thought that was great. I mean, look, do we even know if that was real? Like, do we?
Yes, it was real.
Do we? Why? Because leaked shit got out to people that it was real because Dave told us it was real?
And because Corey Graves tells you every week how much he hates Enzo Amore.
But they're probably riding together, man, to the next town right now.
Yeah, okay.
Giving each other, like, hair tips because they both have, like the most...
Even on, like, what was the show with Rosenberg? He would trash talk fucking Enzo.
Oh, yeah. On Hot 97. Right?
No, not the one on Hot 97.
Oh,
on
Bring It to the Table?
WWE.
Bring It to the Table. All right. I know. I just thought the Enzo, to me, maybe because it was real, but I enjoyed that the most.
Yeah, I couldn't really remember any good storylines from this year, and that's a problem.
Do you have an indie storyline that you remember?
Are there indie storylines?
Well, I mean, like Ring of Honor does stuff like that.
Do they?
Yeah. So I'm gonna pick a Ring of Honor storyline that I think when you look at it, all right, the way they drew it up was fantastic, and that's Bully Ray. Bully Ray came in. Listen, Bully Ray came in. A lot of classic Ring of Honor, or it's not classic, right? But old school Ring of Honor fans weren't really happy about it. He started teaming with the Briscoes, which made sense, and people were like, okay, this works. And if you think about it, he came in March, and I guess the entire idea was we're going to go from this moment to Final Battle. And they laid it out the way they wanted to. I mean, the weeks leading up to Final Battle, where the Briscoes were showing up at House of Hardcore and listening to Tommy Dreamer.
You didn't care about this match?
What? I cared about that match at Final Battle. When they went to the 3D Academy and attacked, my favorite thing is that it's after hours and these guys are just training there, so they have the keys. And then, of course, one of my favorite promo moments of the year, or vignettes, was when they went into that back room and, as Mark Briscoe said, like, oh, look at all Bully Ray's accolades. He's got all these accolades. Like, he said accolades the way that Rusev said elated. He's like, what does elated mean? Oh, yes, I'm elated. That when they were just throwing his pictures around. Listen, I'm gonna say it. I've said it before privately to you. Now, after seeing that storyline, Jay Briscoe is legitimately a man in professional wrestling, character or not. I'm not going to go up to him when I get press access at a Ring of Honor show and just say what's up to him. Because what if I'm fucking annoying him? I don't know. Like, that dude sells it. Evil, angry Briscoes who want to take out Bully Ray because now he's a bitch, according to their standards.
Wow.
That's what they said. They said those words. So that to me, that was great. And Bully Ray, one of the things he was saying was, he does things for stories, And if he came in, and I really legitimately feel they were like, all right, you come in, you team with them, and then a final battle, that'll be your last match. And, we're going to have the Briscoes go full heel on you, and then you and Tommy face them a final battle. And if that was the plan the entire time, and it looks like it was, kudos to them. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't think it's that difficult to pull that off, but, whatever. Billy Ray wasn't really around for a while. He wasn't really wrestling. Yes, it was a good storyline, but I don't know. It never really interested me.
Fair enough. All right. So moving along, are we ready for best female wrestler of the year?
Sure.
All right.
Just to clarify here, that the women could have been included with the best wrestler.
Yeah, I don't want to.
But it just is easier to split it up because there's a lot of wrestlers. So giving the women, their own spotlight instead of maybe overlooking them in the whole wrestler part of it. Just seemed like a better way to do it.
Yeah, I was thinking that actually when we talked about the categories, I was thinking about, oh man, when we record this, I feel like there could be some backlash. Like, why aren't they just included in Best Wrestler? Then I was like, maybe we should cover our bases and do like Best Cruiser, Best Female, Best Wrestler. I mean, we are doing Best Tag Team. But then I was like, at the end of the day, it's a different category, right? They're different segments. If we're gonna do tag team and we're gonna do wrestler, I think we can do best female as well. And
right. I mean, Charlotte's not stepping in the ring with AJ Styles, so there has to be a little bit of separation there. And yes, the women are great. This has clearly been the best year for women's wrestling probably ever, right? So there's no disrespect, no ill will over there. Just it made it easier for the breakdown.
100%.
So yeah, I had Ember Moon, Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. I mean, probably the top three for sure, right? Are your main three women on the main roster, and it seems like Ember Moon has stepped into the Asuka role on NXT, and someone else who I don't think will win this, but Nikki Cross is someone that personally I wasn't familiar with her coming into NXT. At first, I thought she was just kind of Sanity sidekick, whatever, but almost immediately she started doing dives onto the man and taking out some wrestlers, and it was it was like, holy shit, this woman is nuts. And then seeing her wrestle and her playing the character, she's really awesome. So honorable mention to her. I can't wait to continue watching that and watching her grow.
Yeah, so my list was actually almost exactly the same, except I didn't have Ember Moon. I actually had the Iconic Duo. I know it's kind of cheating.
You love them for whatever reason.
Because I like obnoxious heels. I like that. I like that Billie Kay is kind of bought into. Listen, Peyton's the she's the wrestler. I'm with her. I loved when Lay Cool were together. I kind of like this idea that we're doing this, we're not both gonna hold the title, whatever, or both have the title around our waist, but we're doing this for one purpose. And I think they're really
the Mean
good.
Girls is always a safe bet.
Yeah. So I also had Charlotte. I also had Asuka, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking out on the other Alexa Bliss. So I'm gonna go with Alexa Bliss. I think Asuka is now up on the main roster and she's doing very well, but I think Alexa, in a way, carried both divisions, both Raw and SmackDown, for the entire year. And she is, I think, 80% better than 80% of the male wrestlers on the mic in WWE.
Yeah, Alexa is great, and yeah, she's actually my pick too, because we knew what we were getting from Charlotte and Asuka, right? Like they were locks. They're amazing. They're fantastic at what they do. Alexa Bliss, when she got drafted, it was like, wait, what? Why? I thought she was going to be, the next crop of women on NXT, and really thought it was very early. And then she came up and she has killed it every single time. And her promos just get better and better, and she's really, really good on the mic. And that's something that we haven't really seen from the women in maybe ever. Someone who could cut a promo like that and just be so flawless and good on the mic. So yeah, Alexa Bliss is my pick too, and the unanimous winner here.
Yeah, congratulations. She'll be hopefully stopping by to pick up her award as well.
Yeah, good luck with that.
We have off for a couple more days, so if not, we'll schedule something for the weekend or something like that. All right. Do you want to do most surprising or best surprise before we get to best wrestler? Is it a little interlude?
The Hardys will be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Marty joining the Bullet Club is probably up there. But for me, maybe it's biased because we were there. Probably not. I'm not sure a bigger thing happened this year. Adam Cole showing up at NXT and, no pun intended, taking over. That was one of the coolest things I can remember. I'm not sure the last time that WWE signed someone with such hype and success around the world. So, that was a huge thing for him to show up, and whether we expected it or not, it was amazing and still a surprise.
So I had the same moments that you had. I'm adding one to it, was Jericho showing up in New Japan.
Yeah, what ruined that for me was somebody mentioned something about Jericho, and then I was like, wait, what? And it was as I was watching that show, so I was kind of thinking about it, which really sucked. But yeah, that was really amazing and definitely a complete surprise because, you saw these guys going back and forth on Twitter. You assumed. I'm sorry. I'm watching Royal Rumble and Bobby Lashley definitely just broke Sylvain Grenier's legs. He just threw him out of the ring and oh my God. Anyway, yeah. That was something that came out of nowhere. They were going back and forth on Twitter. You assumed it was for the Jarrett Cruz and all that stuff, but nope, New Japan. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch coming up soon.
So
I'm going to say the winner is Adam Cole just because it meant the most.
So now I'm going to go with one of the ones that we mentioned that I was there for as well, and I'm going to go with the Hardys.
See, now my question for you is, was that even the biggest surprise of the Hardys? I think the WrestleMania surprise was 10 times bigger than ROH. They wrestled for Ring of Honor on Saturday in a ladder match, and then wrestled on Sunday in a ladder match for WWE. Man.
I get what you're saying. Man, that's a really good point, but I don't know. Listen.
Personally, right.
I mean, I was... not only was I there, but, I don't often get fantastic seats at Hammerstein. I got, I was sitting in one of those, first-level balconies, so it's, about 8 feet off the floor. So for a short guy like me to sit right there in the first row, I mean, I was, looking straight at the ring post. And, I mean, they come in, and Jeff hits a swanton. It was absolutely unexpected, absolutely insane. I went crazy for it. And I think part of it for me was also that, to me, what puts it over almost is that my surprise was seeing the Broken Hardys. The WrestleMania surprise was seeing the Hardy Boys come back.
God, get out of here with that.
All right, so I'm going to go with... Listen, right now, you're telling me that you're not happier that it's Woken Matt than just Matt Hardy boys?
Sure, I'm happier, but that doesn't take anything away from that WrestleMania moment because, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, when the New Day came out, like, I was just like, oh, cool, the New Day are adding themselves to the match. And then the Hardys, like I said, they wrestled the Young Bucks in a ladder match the night before.
Yeah, man.
And then they wrestled another ladder match in WWE. Like, that's amazing. That's something we'll never see happen ever again. So, you know, just that moment alone is kind of crazy for me.
Fair moment. All right, and so we're split on this one. So luckily we do have 2 awards for each category in case there's a tie. That we make these.
No, they got to fight it out. They have to have a match over it.
Oh yeah, no. So so
the Hardys against Adam Cole.
That'll be a pretty good match. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think that's ever been done. All right, so now we go to Best Wrestler of the Year category.
Who the hell is this guy walking down the aisle right now? Yeah, he's got like scars on his pants. Short. Looks a little angry. Maybe like a rabid Wolverine.
I've never
heard of this guy before.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's weird.
Ben something?
Oh.
Ben Oil, maybe? I don't know.
Weird. Pegasus Kid? I don't know. All right. So, Best Wrestler of the Year category 2017 Running Wild Podcast Awards. Who are your nominees, sir?
Should we go the other way for this one, or you want to start with Indies first?
Yeah, I guess let's start with Indies, right?
Okay. Well, I mean, the easy 2 nominees here are Omega and Okada for me. And then I have 3. I have Marty Scurll, somebody who, you know, just anything he does, I find entertaining. He's really broken out a lot this year. I have Zack Sabre Jr., because anytime he wrestles, it's just amazing. And then I have, you know, maybe someone who's not on this list, but for me, the most improved or someone that maybe has gained my respect or fandom more so this year than anyone is Chuck Taylor. His stuff in PWG, and now he's getting a chance in Ring of Honor and other places. It's, you know, I know this is a guy who's been around for a while, but you know, he's someone who I think improved drastically this year, and you know, maybe they took him a little more serious or whatever the case. I don't know, but that guy was amazing every time I saw him.
All right, so he's not on your list, so I'm going to add him because I agree with all your other picks. But I had Cody Rhodes on this list.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you, Cody is my winner. I had Omega. I put Okada there just because I felt like I would get booed mercilessly if I didn't have him up there.
Did you put the little midget gorilla from CMLL?
Listen, Kemonito is, I mean, he's great. I kind of like Zacarias Perico.
Anyway, I'm sorry that I asked. Continue.
And Microman is probably the best mini wrestler of the year. But he's not. I didn't put them in this category. But I'm putting Cody Rhodes. The dude left WWE and made himself huge and became Ring of Honor World Champion and seemed to raise the level of viewership for that company and made things a big deal. And now he's in the process of securing a 10,000 seat location to run an event to prove how big he is, and I think he's going to do it.
So now here's my problem with Cody. Yes, he is a star, and I cannot argue that. However, give me a memorable match that he had. Give me, you know, I haven't seen the work rate or the like. I haven't got sucked into a Cody Rhodes match. I haven't felt the emotion of a Cody Rhodes match. It hasn't been there for me in terms of that. And that's something that the 4 or 5 guys that I mentioned on my list, every time they're in the ring, I'm bought in. I'm wanting to see what's going on. I'm wanting to see the next thing that's coming. They're making me laugh. They're, making me nervous that they're going to lose. They're making, they make me feel it. And that's something that I really look for.
Point well taken. I just think that when I think of indie wrestling, I think of somebody who's able to make his name to be known.
He's a star.
Yeah,
he's a star.
That's what it is.
He's a guy. He's has a huge name, and he came to to the Indies, with a lot of fanfare. A lot of people were excited to see what he could do. And he's a big star. He carries it that way, and he's great on the Indies. But just in terms of the in-ring stuff, it's been a little bit of a disappointment for me with him. I thought he would pick up the pace. I thought, he would get a little more aggressive and this and that, but I haven't really seen that.
Fair. I mean, the ring stuff, I know what you're saying about the work rate, but like I said, it's weird because almost for this category, I'm probably going to go... What I'm saying for this choice is probably going to be the opposite of what I think for WWE wrestler, because I think for me, when you're talking about indies, it's about that name. It's about being a star, and I think that he did tons of stuff to continually be that star, and I appreciated that work.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree with that. He feels like a big deal, and maybe that's also like what impacts my I wouldn't say dislike, but my my dislike for him in the ring. Like, he feels like such a big star that when he gets in the ring, I expect something bigger and better, and I usually don't get that, and I guess that's what's kind of just let me down a little bit.
There's still a part of me that really wonders, and maybe I'm just being crazy, but what if that's part of what he's doing,
No.
All right.
I think he's trying.
Not that he's not trying. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying he's not going to do anything super crazy. He's not going to do that to appeal. I don't know, because part of his shtick was that he was a heel,
That yes, and he works like an old school heel.
Yeah,
and that's fine. But it just
agree
hasn't
disagree.
clicked for me.
I get it. Agree to disagree. All right, so you're going to go with.
Remind me to ask you something when the show is over.
Ooh, this will be for the Patron Patron followers, which is nobody right now. Anyway, so my final is Cody. Your final is.
I'm gonna say Kenny Omega because just
Kenneth
you want to talk about star power. You want to talk about emotion. You want to talk about just a total package for me when it comes to wrestling. That guy. The physicality is just insane, and makes me like nauseous at times. But just the work in the ring, the stories that he tells in the ring are, head and shoulders above anyone else that I've seen this year. So when it comes, other than the one guy that I'm going to mention in WWE, but it's Kenny Omega, and I don't really, everyone has their opinion, but for me, it's not even close.
All right. And now we move on to WWE Wrestler of the Year.
Right. And, I'll give you my three guys that are on the list with the winner. But I have Kevin Owens just because, he's always entertaining. He's my personal favorite wrestler. And, so everything he does, I'm going to feel a little more invested in. But I think he had a good year winning some titles, being in the match with Shane, doing the whole thing with Vince. I think that was important. I have The Miz, who has just been amazing. He was the Forbes, I believe, Wrestler of the Year, which was pretty cool. It even made me go back to some of the old Real World and watch him doing the moves on the girls and being The Miz. It's kind of crazy that this guy made it, and he's awesome. So. He had a great year. My main man, from the bottom of my heart, Braun Strowman. I think he's got to be on the list. That guy was just fantastic this year. The crowd grew to love him. Everything he does is pretty cool. And then, it's It's not even a close competition here. AJ Styles is the wrestler of the year. That guy, I was thinking about this the other day. Has there ever been anyone like AJ Styles in WWE? Yeah, you might want to say Punk, you might want to say Bryan, right? Guys on the indies. But neither of those guys ever had the approval of Vince like I feel AJ does. Or just every time that guy's in the ring, man, it's something special. Like it's you feel the emotion, you feel the story that's being told, and I can't say that I've felt that from Punk and Bryan. It's a different thing with AJ.
So all of my choices were actually exactly the same, and I'm having a hard time with this one because after hearing what you said, AJ was really one of the best wrestlers of the year, but I don't know, man. I know this is, for my money, Braun Strowman. I mean, AJ was consistently always good, had really crazy peaks, no valleys at all. But for me, Strowman, he got me excited about wrestling more than anybody else really did in WWE this year.
I guess it kind of comes down to why I picked Alexa, right? Like everyone else, you knew what you were getting.
Yeah.
Braun kind of just came out of nowhere. So I can agree with that. It's just like whenever AJ wrestles anyone, like, I want to watch it, and it's going to be a good match. And I don't know what it is, man. Like he's just so good in the ring that like everything he's doing seems amazing, but that dude feels like a real star in WWE, and it's kind of cool because I love that guy in TNA. Never thought he was going to make it to WWE because he was never on the radar, really. And then he comes in last year. The Rumble was amazing. He loses to Jericho at Mania, right? Everyone's crying, thinking that's the end of the world, and boom, look at where we are now. So patience is key here in wrestling. But I think if you look at where he was, losing to Jericho and maybe not having Vince's ear or Vince's favor yet, I think that's out the window. I think Vince knows he's the man now, and carrying SmackDown, feuding with Shane, all that stuff just lends his hand to that.
Man, Braun is so good that he gave James Ellsworth like a full year of WWE. He gave James Ellsworth a victory over AJ Styles.
You do not have to sell me on Braun Strowman. Let's be clear on that.
If anybody else faces Ellsworth in a spot, and Ellsworth says any man with two hands, right? What is it? Any man with two hands can win.
Yes. Has a fighting chance.
Has a fighting chance. If it was so amazingly comical and over because he was facing Strowman, right?
Yes, but James Ellsworth also looks like a freak. Like how many Braun Strowman also wrestled 20 other guys too.
I mean, maybe we give it to AJ here because he didn't kill Ellsworth when Ellsworth went for the Styles Clash the wrong way.
I'm with. Oh my God, I'm with your Braun. I don't disagree, but AJ he's the best wrestler in the world. It would be kind of cool to see him and Omega right now, kind of at their peaks, wrestling each other. But that's something I don't think we're ever going to get to see. Probably
not. All right, so one last one. I'm going to surprise you. What do you think was the best interview we did on the show this year? We had War Machine, Cody Rhodes, Sam Adonis, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Matt Taven, Mandy Leon, Jonathan Gresham, Silas Young, Bobby Fish, Jay Lethal, Ian Riccaboni, Rico De La Vega, Pete Gas, Flip Gordon, and Ethan Page. Oh, and of course, the big dog, Red Titus.
I don't know. Which one was your favorite since you were the one interviewing? Taven, I guess, would be up there, right?
Yeah, Taven was really fun for me. I just enjoyed some of the back and forth I got to do with him. I mean, if I had to pick a moment, getting Jay Lethal to briefly do a Macho Man voice during the interview was also right. A personal highlight. And
I just think like interviewing, whether the interview was 2 minutes, 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. Cody, Lethal, Cole, O'Reilly, Fish. Getting to talk to all the people that you did in the past year is pretty cool. So I think they're all winners for me.
I mean, Pete Gas kicks ass also. Let's not forget.
Right.
So for all you guys listening, you guys can go back into our archives and listen to all of those interviews from 2017. We're excited to bring you even more interviews in 2018. So, definitely stay tuned. I just want to kind of go out there and say thank you guys for listening to all our episodes weekly throughout the year. We appreciate the support. It was a big year for us. We got our custom theme song. Thank you to our friend Scott Brower over there for amazing tunes as we go into the show. And just really been a fun year, and we're excited to continue doing this into next year.
Yeah, and to continue doing it right now because we have to talk about Wrestle Kingdom.
Correct. So we're going to transition into Wrestle Kingdom 12. It'll take place January 4th. I believe that. So now, am I right in saying that we don't even have to? It's going to be on Access for free in English days later. Am I crazy?
Yeah, like a week later, I believe it's going to be on Access. Yeah, that's cool, but it's just watch it. New Japan World. It'll be English commentary. Everything will be there. When we run through this card, you'll see exactly why you need to watch this as soon as you wake up on January 4th or get home from work or whatever the case is. I'm just going to pray that there's no kid in my school who watches New Japan. I'm pretty sure there's not. So I should be safe there. But, so I'm going to avoid spoilers and watch this as soon as I get home. But just going through the card, we have the New Japan Rumble, which is always, it is what it is. A couple of timers come back, some young guys. So whatever, that'll be fun. Then you have Roppongi 3K defending the IWGP Junior Tag Championships against the Young Bucks. It feels like the Young Bucks win the junior tag titles every year at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm not saying that's out of the question, but I think this is a nice spot for Roppongi 3K to cement their place in the junior tag division by beating the Young Bucks and having an amazing match at Wrestle Kingdom with them.
Yeah, I agree there. I'm liking Roppongi 3K, and I can see them retaining here.
Yeah, they should. Like I said, it's just seems like something New Japan likes to do is give their big star junior tag team the titles at the big show. So whatever, I can't be mad at that either. We have a 60-minute time limit, never open weight tag team gauntlet. Tonga, Loa, and Fale against Taguchi, Juice, Makabe, Beretta, Yano, and Ishii. Wow. Hansen, Rowe, and Michael Elgin. Jesus, that's a big team. And Taichi, Iizuka, and Zack Sabre.
I'm going to go with... So now, who are the defending champions?
I believe
Bullet
it's
Club.
Tonga, Loa, and Fale.
I could see Bullet Club keeping it. I don't know. I mean, I just
Taguchi, Juice, and Makabe give me a little worry.
I just listened to a podcast with Hansen, where let's just say that he's not too happy to be teaming with Elgin. So it doesn't mean that they can't win, but I just don't see.
Well, they're not going to win because this could be their last independent show for all we know, right? So, whatever. That's a big team. That's a fun team to watch. And kind of hurts it a little bit now that I know Hansen hates Michael Elgin, but that'll be fun. Now this one really sucks because we don't have the ROH title in it anymore. But Ibushi and Cody should be a fun one.
Yeah. No, I think they're going to put on a good show, and blonde Cody seems like more of a jerk, so I'm excited to see this one. I like to see him beat Ibushi, but I don't see. I'd like to see it happening, but I think Ibushi wins.
Yeah, and I think he should win. IWGP Tag Team Championships. We have Davey Boy and Lance Archer, the defending tag champs, defending against Sonata and Evil, who won the World Tag League. I really think Sonata and Evil should win this.
Yeah.
Evil is someone who's look out for him next year, because that guy is really good. A far cry from when he was in America, whatever the hell his name was. So yeah, Evil is really good. I'm enjoying his stuff, and I like Archer and Davey Boy too, but I think Sonata and Evil win this to capitalize off the World Tag League.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. I think the winners of the World Tag League should win here. They're obviously boys with Roosh from CMLL, so it would be a great victory for Los Ingobernables de Japón altogether.
Then you have a never open weight championship match, hair versus hair. Minoru Suzuki versus Hiroki Goto.
And don't forget, the loser gets a haircut.
That's what I said, hair versus hair.
Oh, sorry. But does Suzuki really have hair? He just has a bad haircut.
The shaved head and that, I guess whatever. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Goto that'll be really physical. So, from that standpoint, that'll be fun.
I want Goto.
It doesn't make sense for Suzuki to win this, right? Like it would make sense for Goto to win and Suzuki to get his head shaved and whatever.
Please, for the love of God.
This one, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. Marty Scurll defending against Will Ospreay, Kushida, and Takahashi. My God, this match, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to say that Hiromu gets the win here because he's the guy who's on his way up to be the breakout star here, and I just think that would be a fun moment for him to get the win there.
Yeah, I mean, his manager needs to feed a family now. I mean, obviously we know that Daryl is married, and has a kid, so it would be a really nice moment to see Tamagotchi come away and come a long way and win this one.
Who was that?
Tamagotchi?
I don't know anybody.
No?
I don't know anybody by that name.
All right, well,
I respect him now.
Takahashi, I think should win this one, and it would be a great moment to see the belt draped around Daryl's waist.
Terrible. Then you have the IWGP IC title match. Hiroshi Tanahashi against Jay White, Switchblade Jay White. Jay White had the big comeback at the last show, and he's been beating up Tanahashi every chance he could. So I'm assuming that Jay White's going to come back and get the win here, off a sabbatical or whatever, off of excursion. It would make sense, right? Tanahashi is hurt, and
his hair is. What did he do to it?
Awesome. A little passing of the torch, right, with Jay White. So I think that would be cool. I think, as much as I dislike Jay White, I think he would be a fitting Intercontinental Champion there. Maybe go on to feud with the Bushi or something of that nature.
I don't dislike Jay White, and I want him to win here. And Tanahashi ruined his hair. He had amazing flowing rock and roll locks, and he kind of went with like shorter Bon Jovi. I don't understand what he did, so I'm going for Jay White.
Man. He can do no wrong.
Going for Jay White.
All right, then we have the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship no DQ match. Alpha versus Omega, Kenny Omega against Chris Jericho. I think going no DQ was very, very smart here.
Yeah.
Because you could not have Kenny Omega just do those suplexes and stuff to Jericho and he'll die. So I like the no DQ addition. This storyline and stipulation stuff has been great, with them attacking each other at press conferences and after matches. I've really enjoyed that. Jericho is Jericho, and he's not going to do anything half-assed. He's not going to do anything and not try to make a statement, not try to be the best. So this is going to be really fun. It's just going to be cool to see. Jericho is a WWE wrestler. Whether he's under contract now or not, that's beside the point. But he called Vince McMahon and asked permission for this. So to see a WWE guy versus a guy who's never going to be in WWE, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing for me that slightly ruins it, and maybe you'll disagree with me here, but I don't like that it's for the title.
I mean, it's just for the title because Omega is the champion.
Yeah.
It's WrestleMania. It's just whatever.
Because I want Jericho to win. I want him to destroy Omega in Japan and hold that title. And I know imagine something like that happened in WWE. Like, imagine Cody Rhodes or Jay Lethal comes to the WWE and then loses to somebody who's not on their level. That would be kind of crazy. Or like Jericho goes to Ring of Honor and beats Castle and Cody, and you know what I mean? Like, that would be crazy. You don't do that. So Jericho's there for his name value, for the star power. This was a great move by both of them to get this done, and it should be awesome. All right.
Obviously, I'm going to say Omega.
Okay, I'm still going to say Jericho, despite what popular logic states. I just want Jericho. So
yeah, that would be crazy. All right, then
that's it. Right?
We have the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match: Kazuchika Okada defending against the G1 Climax winner Tetsuya Naito, and my God, these two are going to kill each other. This is going to be just something really special. These guys have fought in the past. They've had a rivalry going for a couple of years, maybe even more than that. This is cool. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I want to see Naito win the title. I want to see Naito posing, pulling his usual pose with that title in the middle of the ring after he beats Okada.
I'm going to say this, regardless of if he wins or not, you might not get that moment because he's probably just going to throw the belt. But yeah, I'm completely with you. I want to see Naito get this win here. Okada has been champion for over a year. It's been building, to someone beating him. And every time he just gets better and better, and it gets closer and closer. So, Okada matches are amazing to watch. So no matter who he's in the ring with, this is going to be fun. And Naito is also one of the best in the world. So this is going to be crazy.
100% agreed.
But I'm with you. I'm going to say Naito gets the win. Won the G1. He gets the win here, and we move on to 2018 that way.
All right. Well, we got our New Japan preview in. We got our awards in for the year. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. So, as always, make sure you guys are subscribing. And if you guys get a chance, go over, rate and review. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, anywhere you can get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at RunningWildLWS. Send us a private message on Gmail at runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. Follow me at Rich_Laconi on Twitter, and you can follow my wrestling coverage over at pwponderings.com, rohworld.com, and last word on prowrestling.com, where we actually have a really cool New Japan week going on there. So tons of articles. If you want to watch Wrestle Kingdom 12 and you don't know much about New Japan, go over to last word on prowrestling.com this week and check out, seriously, over 10 different articles just on New Japan history and the history between the history of all these matches. It's a really good place to get a primer before the event.
Well, maybe you should read some of those.
I will. I have actually. I know more about New Japan now than I ever have before.
Perfect.
And I think if
all it takes is like a year of watching every single show. And then you'll be a fan. Just look at Ring of Honor, man.
Yeah, well, stranger things have happened.
I said next year, forget about Ring of Honor and just watch every single New Japan show. Their house shows can't be worse. Yes, they can.
All right, well, we'll see about that. I'm going to leave that to no comment.
Did you watch NXT last week? Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I did not.
Okay. I just want everyone to rewind to last week when I believe it was, we're off for a week. Just give me anything and I'll watch it.
I did.
That's a direct quote.
You know what I watched?
CMLL.
I'm going to be there in 6 weeks, buddy. Let's not forget that. All right. With all that out of the way.
What a way to end the year.
with disappointment, I just want to remind you guys that you've been listening. Happy New Year, and you've been listening to the podcast. That is
Excuse me, you're not going to wish everyone a happy Rusev Day?
Oh, happy Rusev Day, of course.
Jesus.
Happy Rusev Day, as we want you guys to enjoy all your Rusev days. And just appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. That is just too sweet.
For Rich and Runz, this is the host of Ring of Honor Wrestling, Ian Riccaboni, signing off. Be sure to join them next week for another episode of the Running Wild Podcast.